اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. Is it working? Yes. You can hear me without it, I think. Do I need it? I don't need it. All of you can hear me without it. Yeah, well, I can. I mean, you can hear me. But اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، ثم الصلاة على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق الخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراط المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. أما بعد. So today I have Sheikh could not come, so he asked me to come and give you a lesson. And I'm not talking about a lesson of Aqeedah today, but I will talk about a lesson of Darul in Islam. Darul means honoring your parents. Because you are all young and you have to know that in Islam we have a system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wants us to follow that system. He created us for that system. And Darul is very important. Aqeedah is what we believe in and what we do, which is Islam, is what Allah commanded us. So from this lesson you would know that one of the first commands that Allah gives to people after they become Muslim is Birrul Walidain. So I will read some verses of the Quran. I have a lot of because Birrul Walidain is mentioned in the Quran a lot and in the Hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam a lot. So it will be, I'm not going to read all of it because your lesson may be too much. I don't know when Sheikh tells me or when your time's up. I don't know how much time I have. If it's 1 hour or if it's half an hour or if it's 30 minutes, 1 minute, whatever time. I will first give you the main points, and then if we have more time, I have more things to read for you from different hadiths and Quran, ayat Sharifa, inshallah, hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I'm first reading this because this is made for I think fourth grade, which grade? Fourth grade of Islamic school. But it's a very important book, so I will read this book first, and then I have more things that I have in here for you if you read more. I know you are different age groups, and some of you will need more. Some of them can only take a few things because you are so young and it may be too much for you. So inshallah. Shall I use this or shall I not use it? Use it?
No,
it's
just
best to
use
use
it.
it. Okay, inshallah.
It's okay.
Okay, because I have to move my hands and move some. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So we are starting with the first of Quran here. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغنك عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. صدق الله العظيم. This is Surah Al-Isra, ayat 23 to 24. So this verse of Quran, the Kutub of Tafsir, they have been discussing this a lot. And in fact, Al-Qurtubi in his Tafsir, he has I have here 16 points, 16 mas'ala out of this verse of Quran. So if we go to one by one, we can get 16 different understanding knowledge of it from this one verse of Quran, from the commands that are in it, that step by step they can explain to you. I have all of them here in this 9 pages here, and we can go one by one because here this is getting meanings of that if you want. But now we're making it simple first, so we have to translate it in English a little bit. And I'm using my own translation because I'm not following any previous translation, but I think they translated it here too. So why don't we follow the one they translated here separately? وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ. First, I'm going to explain to you the way I'm understanding it in Arabic here. So وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ. The Mufassirin here, the qada they saying means, the word qada means حَكَمَ أَمَرَ وَحَكَمَ. Most of the Mufassirin, they are saying it means Allah commanded and Allah made an order. وَقَضَى وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Your Lord has commanded, has ordered not to worship except Him. So what that part of the verse of Quran means for us, that first part before we go to the parents, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. This is Tawheed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us here, and you have learned in the lessons of Aqeedah, that Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, is the most important thing that Allah has been sending messengers. All the messengers were teaching Tawheed. And then after that, they will be teaching their Sharia. Their Sharia means their law, which means do that, don't do that, do that, don't do that. Do that, don't do that, does not come except to a believer. If you are not believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are not muwahid, and you are not following the correct Aqeedah, the commands are not going to be for you. So, for example, I give you. We Muslims are believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we are Muslims. We already believe in Prophet and in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. So Allah then commanding us to respect your parents, pray your 5-day prayers, make your zakat, fasting, go to Hajj. All of these only come to us after we become a believer. Is Allah, when He is saying make Hajj or make fasting, is He talking to non-Muslims? No, because non-Muslims, they are not Muslim yet. And if they are not Muslim, keep quiet, because if you don't keep quiet, then I would be confused, and you know, I may then make a singing instead of I make qasida for you then instead of talking, because qasida it makes good for the heart, and it's not needing a lot of thinking. It's just the heart coming out. But if you want me to give you a lesson, then I have to think and bring things together. So then it means if you talk, then my mind is going to be. What is our goal here is to know the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is telling us to respect your parents. Very important. But before that, Allah says that وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ Tawheed. He is telling you that there is no other God except me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us there is no other God. All the other gods that they're talking about are man-made. Man-made means people decided that this is our God. They can say that the sky is our God, the moon is our God, or the sun is our God. They can make a statue. What's your name, Sheikh? You? Mahmoud? Mamoon, Sheikh Mamoon. It's the third time I'm seeing you, so next time sometimes I punish students. I'm a good teacher, but sometimes I can tell you sit there by yourself. I don't want to do that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Sheikh, just cut back. Don't talk too much. It's good adab, because if you do not listen, Islam listening is very important. The most characteristic that I want you to have as students is listen to your parents, your teachers, because listening is better than talking. Talking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like us to talk, because hadith of Prophet also told us not to talk. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليصمت أو يقول خير. Whoever believing in Allah must either keep quiet or must say good things. If you are not saying good things, what's happening? You are in trouble, because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the malaika, they are writing down all of that. And Prophet also said, I can promise Jannah for you if you keep quiet, if you keep the thing between your lips, if you keep that. You also hadith long and other things, but this one, Prophet said, if you keep the thing that's between your lips, because Allah gave you teeth and gave you lips to shut that tongue is very, very dangerous. So Allah made two things to cover them. First, the teeth covering him, and then the lips covering that, because we need to keep that tongue really shut, because only the time we need to say is when we are saying good things, like reading Quran or reading hadith of Prophet, or saying salam to people, or saying good things, then we can say. If we are not controlling that tongue every day, all day, and we are not thinking about it, then sooner or later it's going to say bad things. And Shaitan uses that tongue a lot. He uses it, movies it a lot, so we have to be careful about that. Okay, coming back to what I was saying, the commands are only for believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is asking us, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. He wants us first to sign a contract with Him. When you are getting a job, or when you go to a king and you say, I am accepting you as my king, first he has to tell you that he is accepting you. and means you are one of his people. So that first part has nothing to do with what he wants you to do. It is just that you are part of the family now. The king says you are one of my people. After that, he's going to tell you what to do for him. If you go to a king, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, we are not comparing Allah to any of his creation because they cannot be compared. Allah cannot be compared to his creation subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether it's a king or a boss or a family, a father, people will respect like Imam or anybody. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are his creation, cannot be compared to him. But in any case, it gives us a little lesson here. So if you go to a king, let us say, and you say, "Oh, from now on, I am one of your servants. I'm accepting you as my president. I'm voting for you, and I'm accepting you." So that part, you are just becoming a member, you know. And then after that, the president saying, "If you are my supporter, then why don't you do that for me?" So now we are coming to the command part. For the first part, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ means Allah is saying, signing contract with you, and He's saying you cannot worship any other God because there is no other God. You don't waste your time. Don't worship my creation. Because if you worship the moon, I created it. If you worship a rat, like some people have been doing, I was seeing a movie that somebody was worshiping rats, you know, and they were, it's true, they were giving them some milk in the temple. It was, I think, in India or someplace, and they were coming to the temple. They were bringing a lot of food, and all these rats coming out, and these people respecting the rats so much, giving them milk and food and all of that. The whole temple is full of food that they bring in from home, and they're saying that this is an incarnation of one of their, many gods that they have. That rat or that statue that the Arabs were worshipping at the time of Prophet, like Lat and Uzad and all of these statues that Prophet destroyed, all of those, they were people who were worshipping them. In the Day of Judgment, these creations are saying, "Oh Allah, they were worshipped. We were not responsible. We didn't ask them to worship us. You know, we are your creation." But they decided that we are their God. But they were wrong. We're not their God. We are just creation like them. But they were mistaken. They were worshipping them. So what that means is Allah is saying there is no other God except me. So you must understand that there is no other God. If anybody talks to you about a God, they are just lying. They are just giving you one of the creation to be. They're saying that this is my God. How can you prove that this is your God? It's another creation that Allah created. And Allah said, "I am your creator. I am your God." And there is no other one saying that. You gotta know that there is no other person or other creation saying that I am God. So only who is claiming is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has been claiming that to Adam alayhi salam, to Ibrahim, to Yunus, to Noah, to Musa, to Isa, to all the prophets. He was telling them, "Tell my people, tell my creation that I'm their Lord, their creator, and their God." And all that time there was no one coming and saying, "Oh, I am also another God. I am competing with him." Except one guy, his name was Fir'aun. Okay, Fir'aun one time he said, "Ana rabbukum al-a'la." One day he said that. What happened to Fir'aun when he said that? Who knows? This qasas you have been studying, qasas of al-anbiya, and I'm sure some of you are smart enough to know what happened to Fir'aun when he said, "Ana rabbukum al-a'la." I am your Lord. He said to his people. What happened to him? He's the only one historically who ever said, "I am God." Nobody else said that. What happened to him? Who is smart to answer that question? Mamun, you were listening a lot. Good, come on, Sheikh. Give us the answer for that. What happened to Fir'aun? Do you know? Oh, what? Fire? No, Fir'aun didn't happen in a fire. Opposite of fire. What is opposite of fire? Drowned, mashallah. Allah drowned Fir'aun, and his body was floating on the Red Sea, because remember, Allah made, when he was chasing Musa alayhi salam and the Muslims who were with Musa, Allah told them, "Go to the Red Sea and cross the Red Sea." And this is what the Jewish people and the Christian people, they call the Passover. They actually celebrate that even now, Passover. It's a holiday for them. Anyway, Passover, that day, we believe also as Muslims, our Prophet, we believe in it. It's the Yom al-Ashura, the day that they crossed that Red Sea. That day, Allah made the Red Sea land for them. So Allah parted the water of the Red Sea so that their animals, their sheep, goats, camels, themselves, or their cows, they all passed it through the Red Sea, and there was no water. But what happened to Fir'aun and his people? They had their what they call carry-ons. They had some kind of horses that had been dragging some kind of a cart or something, and they used to have weapons that are very strong, powerful in that time, and they were chasing the Muslims who were just poor people. And the Muslims went to the sea, and Sayyidina Musa he hit the beach of the sea with his stick, his asa Musa. He used to have a staff, a cane that he used to carry. The one that became the snake. You guys forget that. Sayyidina Musa, when the magicians came to him, Fir'aun brought the magician. What did he do? Allah told him, Father Quran, what do Allah say? القى عصاك تخطف ما you have the Quran, you're not remembering. Okay, Allah was saying, throw your stick in away, and then it will take تخطف yeah. The first of Quran is Allah. The meaning of it, throw your stick and it's going to eat all the little snakes that they made. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, he threw that stick, and what happened in that big stick? It became a snake, big snake, bigger than the little snakes that the magicians made, and it became, and all the snakes were eaten one by one. So anyway, that same staff or cane, Sayyidina Musa, what did he do when he came to the sea? He hit the sea and he said Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim on it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So when he did that, then Allah opened it for them. They passed it. The Fir'aun and his group, what did they do? They were trying to catch them and kill them. So they came to the sea and they, they are there. And they stood in the sea. They got a little bit confused. How could the sea become a land? But then Fir'aun said, let us go and catch them, even in the middle of the sea. So what happened to them as soon as they were in the middle of the sea?
And then the water came
from all sides, and they all drowned. And Fir'aun, Hafaz al-Quran also know that at that time he said that آمنت بالذي آمن به بني Israel. I am now believing the same, because Fir'aun never, even though Fir'aun was saying I am your God, he himself knew that he was a creation. So he really knew that he's not God. So what happened to him when he was dying? He said, because now he's not showing off to his people now. So what happened? He then said, now that I am dying, I must become Muslim. He was trying to be smart. So at the last minute, he wanted to be Muslim. So he said, you know what? Now that I'm dying and the water is coming from everywhere, آمنت بالذي آمن به بني Israel. I am smart. I am going to believe the same God that the people of Israel were believing. People of Musa were believing that I am the same religion with them. He wanted to change his religion now because the water was all coming on him. So Allah said, no, it's not accepted now, because our repentance is not accepted at the last time. When you are a kafir all your life, and the last time you are dying, you say, oh no, I am becoming Muslim. It's not accepted at that time. Okay, you cannot be smarter that way. So you have to believe in it and be a Muslim in the right time, before it happens, before the punishment comes. Okay? So وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. The understanding I want to teach you from this is, you are signing the contract that there is no other God to worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah made a command, an order, that you cannot worship no one else except Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, because there is no other God. Don't waste your time. There is no other God. It's only Allah is the only God, one God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no other God. Not many, not two, not three. Don't waste your time. As Muslims, we already know that, but people who do not know, they can be confused because they don't know how to find their Lord, and they can then pick up another creation and say, this is my Lord, but they are wrong. After you become a Muslim, then the first command that Allah gives us is what? This is وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. The first command that Allah gives us after we sign the contract with Him is, be good to your parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ, for your two parents. إِحْسَانًا, do good for them. إما يبلغنك عندك الكبر أحدهما, in case one of them becomes too old with you, reaches old age, very old with you, or كلاهما, or both of them became too old with you at that time, فلا تقل لهما أف. Don't say uff to them. Don't say the word uff is two letters. It's alif and fa. Uffin in Arabic means something either bad or something that's smelling bad. So you are saying uff to them means you are saying bad. You are bad, or something. The word came from something that's not smelling good. That people say uff, and something is smelling bad. In Arabic they say that. Often don't say to them. Okay, now the ulama of tafsir, they are explaining to us a lot how this means that Allah picked these two letters from the Arabic word, very two simple, alif and fa. And alif wal fa is small, it's the smallest word that you can make from two letters in Arabic. So Allah is picking up, he's saying, tell you, he's teaching us not to say more things. If you cannot say, Allah is giving us permission, he's giving us a command here, and he is saying, don't say to them, oof. Oh, okay, don't misunderstand. Now, what he means is, do not say more than that also. So don't use words that have 3 letters, words that have 4 letters, or words that have 5 letters, or a sentence, or something like that. Bad words to them, because you have no permission even to say 2 letters, alif and fa, to them. Often, you cannot say often. If you cannot say often to them, do you say more than that to them, bad things? No, you cannot say, because even often, Allah already commanded, you cannot say uf, which is the smallest Arabic letter that you can find. You cannot say bad words to them in that way. Can you, if you cannot say bad words to them, or bad sentences to them, can you yell at them and argue with them? No. You cannot do that. What about if you become big, strong and big, and they become weak, and they are kind of walking like that, and you become, mashallah, very big sisters or very big brothers, and you can kick them, or maybe you can push them a little bit. Can you do that? Can you do that? No, it's haram. Because Allah already told you, you cannot say ufin to them. You cannot say ufin to them, which means you are saying bad words to them. You cannot do that. Then you cannot do nothing else. You cannot beat them. You cannot disrespect them. You cannot yell at them. You cannot argue with them. You cannot say really nothing bad anymore. Are you understanding that part? Yes. MashaAllah. And Allah continues the verse. He says, "La taqul wa la tanharhuma." Wa la tanharhuma means you cannot blame them. You cannot say, "Oh, you did that all day." Especially when they get old. I am old now. Okay, I am very old, but I can get more old. Now I can get like 90 years, 100 years. I can become somebody that cannot see anything, and not my eyes kind of closing, all my skin goes down, and I cannot walk or something like that. You know, when you get, as the more you get old and old, what happens to the people when they get old?
You get weak.
They become weak. They become very sensitive also. So if you yell at them and say bad things to them, their feelings become what? Very weak. Because now if you yell at me all day and say bad things to me, I'm a little bit stronger, even though I'm old. I don't care. I won't get mad. But if I get older and you are saying bad things to me, my feelings are very, very weak, very sensitive. Then I'm becoming what? If you yell at me, I could get problems. And some people, if you yell at them, some parents, they can get heart attack because their heart is very weak. And you can kill your parent by yelling at him. And Allah will punish you in the worst hellfire, because I am coming to the hadiths and Quran that tells you that if you do that, you're going to be in hell for a long, long time. I have that in here for you. So don't do that. In Islam, we do not yell at our parents even when they are young, let alone when they become old. We don't put them in nursery homes, because if you put a nursery home, other people are going to yell at your parents. You are responsible for it. Allah is going to put you in hell for all of that. I'm coming to all of that. But وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah is saying, say to them good words. قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Merciful. Kareem means also generosity, good things. Okay, the brother who translated this more better English than me, he is saying, thy Lord has decreed that ye worship none but him, and that ye be kind to parents. Whether one or both of them obtain old age in thy life, say not to them a word of contempt, nor repel them, but address them in terms of honor. This is Surah Al-Isra, Surah number 17, verse 23. Okay? So this verse of Quran, Imam Al-Qurtubi, he has, like I said, 16 points out of it. You know, I'm just making a few things of that, so that you might kind of know one of these. So, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, yeah. The first one, he is saying, let us just make it short. Let us say that the number 2. الشيخ ثانية أمر الله سبحانه بعبادته وتوحيده You know, after Allah ordered his oneness and his worship, that we cannot worship anybody else. وجعل بر الوالدين مقرونا بذلك, and Allah connected the بر الوالدين close to the oneness of Allah. There are other verses in Quran, like in Surah Al-Luqman, when Allah is saying, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always, he puts the oneness